Welcome to another trail tours video. Today we are in Svanninge Bakker, close to Faaborg. We're just out on the parking lot right now and turning right into the trail just down here. At the start of the trail it's actually a green trail, and it just goes on for a couple of 100 meters, and it's a little circle that you could just warm up on if you like. But as you saw in the title, today we're gonna ride the blue trail, and according to my Strava, the trail is about 4.3 kilometers long, and as opposed to the other trails we have been around, this trail has a lot more climbing, and it is definitely mostly at the latter part of the trail where there is like 2 or 3 really big climbs, and you can see that my heart rate will go up massively in comparison to the rest of the trail. So right now we're just getting into one of the first flow sections, and as you would see, this is a very flowy trail, and it's a very good beginner trail. I would say basically almost anyone can ride it, and if you're not quite sure, if you're a total beginner, you can always go on the green trail in the start, but I would say 95 or maybe even more % of riders can do this trail. Also, this trail is very good in the winter, and yeah, it's just really fun to ride with this flow. And you can just see on the left side there, and coming up again now, there are some red section on the trail, and actually on the same day I recorded this, I recorded on the red trail as well. It's not really a trail, the red trail, because it's mostly just many different sections that connect to the blue trail, so it's going to be a little bit of a longer video where I will ride most of the blue trail, but also have the red trail on the camera as well. So, but as all of the other videos, if you want, you could just, if you haven't already, but you wouldn't hear it, but you can turn my voice off, just turn down the volume, and you can just watch the trail tours video and use it as information only if you need to race here in the future. But as you can see here also, it's more of like some faster descents, and right here is one of 2 points where the power thing didn't even work, so I couldn't get it to work, so it's just like 10 seconds where the power isn't on, but yeah, luckily it didn't really matter going on the downhill right there. And now we're just going around the outside of one of the red uphill sections, and also you can see to the left there's some of the red downhill sections, but we're just going around on the outside, just going at this flowy blue descent. And yeah, this is one of the big cutoff points for the red trail. You can just see on the left there, but we're just staying to the right on the blue trail and just following the road on the right before we turn into the forest. And yeah, it just becomes actually a little more tricky because it is together with some of the older trails, because these trails in Faaborg and Svanninge Bakker are pretty old, and back in the day where we were out here for a couple of years ago, it was super tight, and it was basically like a tree plantage where you just cut down some of the trees, so you could basically not even get through many of the trees. And that is a little bit of what we're getting into now, but they've definitely opened it up way more. And you can also see right here there's so many trees, but just yeah, if you were one of the guys running around here for a couple of years ago, you will definitely remember. And just on the red trail, you can also see in the next trail tours video that the trail is just way more tight than the blue trail, because this is primarily for flow and fun. Also, this corner coming up right here is a little bit of a tricky corner. It's not too scary, but you have to be a little bit precise, because one, there is like some sort of tree on the inside, and is a big off camber that you can go off on the right side, and just getting into these nice fast berms, and they're really good supported, so you're not going to go through them, and yeah, that's just really good for the confidence, and just yeah. So now we're coming up to one of the few tighter sections on the blue trail, just going over this little stump, and yeah, you can see it's definitely way more tight, and this is definitely a reminder of what the trails were like a couple of years ago. So this is one of the more tighter descents. It's not really that long or that steep or anything, but yeah, we're just coming up on a really tight right-hand turn. So you really have to just carry your speed around this corner, and also you can see right now the data at the bottom, the power and just basically the power and also maybe the speed. It can't really keep up in these tight trails because it is coming over the GPS and just syncing it up, and so some of the time it's not really too correct. You can see the power goes up before I accelerate, or otherwise I accelerate before the power goes up, but yeah, you can also see these two trees right here. I basically get a panic attack every time I go through them, because also I'm not really that good with going in such tight spaces, but that's probably also because of my stature. I'm pretty tall, and yeah, we're just coming up on this like rocky part, and these little stones can be really slippery when wet, so you just take it a bit more careful on these rocks. But now just around this corner we're just going into one of the best descents of the whole trail. It's a really long descent actually also, and there's gonna be a little cut, but it's only like half a corner right here. But just going around these super nice corners and some jumps, and it's a really nice descent and pretty high speed. I'm pretty sure I'm going more than 20 kilometers right now, but this descent right here, it's a little bit of off camber, and just really you have to be really precise, because the trail is not more than a couple of centimeters or a couple of inches wide, and but it's super fun and super fast also. I think you basically have to look more at the video other than the data, because yeah, I was going faster than what it was saying. But yeah, just going around this hairpin right now, it's really fun to just try to enter around it, and it just makes it a little bit easier to get around, especially for me on such a big bike, extra large with 120mm front fork, and we're just going up and down this little besides this stream, and this was basically the end of this descent, and we're just starting to climb now. It is probably the biggest and longest climb on the trail, and I would say there's two primary climbs on this trail, and this starts out really fun, and it's a really flowy part, and but I really hate this corner coming up right here. You can just see the tree on the inside, and you really want to carry speed, but there's a tree hanging right over the trail, and you just have to duck down and hope and pray to not hit your back on it. And now we're just going out into this open part. It's actually really nice, it looks really nice, but right down this hill and up to the left it just goes so much up. And yeah, we could also see there is a little bit of damage from the rain, and they've put down this carpet, I think, and just having to push down so many watts just to get up at a decent speed. And you could also see my heart rate is basically at 180. But even though we have done the main part of the climb now, it still continues. And I would say, other than the steep part about 20 or 30 seconds ago, this is arguably the hardest part, because you're already super tired and we just go more and more up. And you can see I have to push 500 watts to just go at a decent speed. I'm just going into this tight section, and I was definitely not ready for that with this pulse. I was just about to go into that tree. I think it was just my front wheel slipping on some of the wet ground, and definitely not ideal, and I lost a little bit of speed. So and that's definitely not great when you're already tired from going up such a long ascent. But we're just more or less up the ascent now. It's just basically flat for a little bit, and now in a couple of seconds we're just going into arguably my favorite descent in the whole area, or more. I don't even know. But it's also a pretty long descent, maybe not as long as the other one, but definitely also in the end it's probably the best part, at least for me. And we're just taking the blue line right here on the right side and the red line on the left side. And this is also a really old descent, or at least the first half part. But the first part is you have to be really precise, and especially this left corner right here, you don't want to go off the edge. And just going around this hairpin corner. And also there's a little bit of, you have to be precise right there and just pre-hop this little uphill, go around the left, go around the right, and just pre-hop up this and around the corner, just manual through here, and just flow and put the back end out. But this corner, I hate this corner. It's just basically a perfect descent, and then you just fade out into nothing. It's just an off-camber sand turn, so really not great. But now we're getting into probably either the hardest ascent or the second hardest ascent after the other one. And this is the second time where the power cut off. I just couldn't get the power on the video, but it just comes back in like about 5 seconds. So we're just starting the ascent now, and just abracadabra. And this ascent is also really steep, just on this part coming up right here, and also you can see it right there. So this is after like 15 minutes of riding, or maybe less if you're going full speed. And also this corner with the tree again and the stump right there is just killing your momentum. It's definitely not really that great, but we're just coming up on the last parts of this ascent, and now your legs are really burning. And also just have to put down a lot of power going around these corners. It's definitely not what you want to be doing when you have so much lactic acid in your legs, but that's what has to be done. And that was the end of the climb. And now we're going into a little bit of the descent, and it's not this left corner, but the next left corner right, coming up right here. So you can just see the tree, and there's also a little root and you're just getting pushed out to the outside and just more or less into the tree. But yeah, also this corner is just the longest corner ever. You just turn and turn and turn and you think, nah, I'm done, and it just continues. And now we're going into the green trail, the rest of the green trail. So if you are a complete beginner and you don't really know how to ride, this is the trail you can ride just to warm up. And I would say we're about 2/3 or 3/4 around the green trail now, which we of course started in the start and just went into the blue trail. But this is also just the end of the blue trail, so it's kind of like connected, the blue and the green trail. But there's nothing really on this trail. It's just after the corner coming up in a couple of seconds, you have to be careful because there's some, right there, some tree logs just laying, because you have to go down on the speed right before going out into the road where others can walk. But that was the blue trail. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the red trail in a week or two.